the New York Flying Squad. Is she, her pronouns. I'm 15. I don't know why I'm saying these things, but I'm breaking the silence. Um, I think our plan for today was like maybe we'll like give a little background about flying squads, and then open the floor up to everybody to ask questions or something like that.
We can start with like what might be a good idea is to start with what we really do in flying squads if people don't know.
Look, it's a very complicated thing to talk about.
Yeah.
But what we do. So my way of usually explaining it is so we all meet up in one place. Usually for Brooklyn Flying Squads, we meet at the what was the name of the library?
The Brooklyn
The
Public
Central Library.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Public Library. Usually, in the very
Central Library.
Central Library. Okay. In the early days of Flying Squad, I think yeah, I think I'm the only one who's right now, I think on like talking. I've been at Flying Squad since it started, since of course my father started it in like, I need to check when, like maybe like a few years ago. My dad started Flying Squad, and we had like a small group of people. We had a small group of people and kind of just went around doing fun stuff, usually going into the nearby park, and building stuff with sticks. And then over time, a lot more people joined, and now we have like 13 people, maybe. We have like a good few people, and so we now have so many, like, I guess I'd say traditions. I think is the best way to explain it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
So now I'll let someone else talk about flying squads because I'm out of stuff to talk about. Actually, I have something. Shalem, maybe since you joined pretty recently, you can talk about what it was like on your first day.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, I've joined like semi-recently, as in like start of the, like a year and a half ago-ish. I think that's right. Yeah, no, it's all kind of what I expected. It's just like a bunch of pretty much friends, and then a quote-unquote facilitator who is just pretty much a child. Hi, Alex. Just going around doing random stuff. We the stuff we do varies pretty widely. For the first like year, for the first year I was there, we hung out in the park for all of it because pandemic stuff. So if you can hear my brother in the background, it's him playing Minecraft. So, but yeah, no, we kind of just went around. We do have a lot of traditions. The dollar dares is a big one. Those have been going for a really long time. And are always hilarious. Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of what I expected, just like a bunch of goofy kids going around the park or going to the city, doing, random stuff, having fun.
yeah, I want to give a little more perspective of what a day like is kind of structured. There's like not a lot of structure except for at the beginning of the day, we'll meet at the library and where we encourage people to come on time by calling the person who comes last kind thing. Um,
Zoe, you kind of froze
yes.
there. I'll explain it for her since her network seems to not be the best right now. But what Zoe was saying is that maybe more of not really an encouragement, but more of a kind of added tag to coming late is you're called the Stinky, and you mostly kind of forget about it. But I remember we had one kid near the start of Flying Squads who would come late every time. No, I think he left a year later. But I saw someone say
Unrelated
ask about
reasons.
I saw someone ask about dollar dares. So basically, one person one day who was not my father said to, I think it was my brother. The earliest one I remember was my father told so basically what it is someone tells you what to do and you'll get $1 for it. And sometimes it's like 75 cents if it's not that big of a deal. But you'd still get money for it, and maybe if it was like a really big dare, you'd get $2. So the earliest
recently I got a $4 dare, which was
No,
huge.
it was a $5 dare.
It
was a $5 dare, but I didn't,
$5.
complete it. Or I didn't do the full one, but I got $4 for it.
So basically, what my brother did was okay. Someone wants an example. So an example of what Shalem did. I don't think I was there. What did you do, Shalem? How much?
It's hard to explain. In a bit, I can tell you a story if you want. But yeah, it's
All right.
An interesting one.
Oh yeah, Maliki. Maliki. This is probably the first one, which was Maliki. So he's fake. So Maliki went around. So we have this to give more clarification on this. We have these things called Bumpo names, named after the character Natty Bumpo. I think I'm saying that right, from The Last of the Mohicans. And what we do is for instance, my Bumpo name is Lord Bumpo. You come up with something like a word, anything, and then Bumpo. One kid, Isaac, changed it 3 times, which so far is the record. And so Maliki went around. He got $1 dare to get petitions for Rip Van Winkle to be New York's governor. I think he got all the signatures he needed. We did it again maybe like a year ago, and I think we only got like 4 signatures that time. But I remember another $1 dare. This was my favorite, and this is the only reason I remember it. Was one of the people was dared to lick a wet spot that they found on the ground for $1, and it was a joke. It was, oh, you're not going to do it. And then she actually did it, and everyone was grossed out. And it was either I just heard someone scream.
Only
Oh,
Yeah, sorry,
that's
that
you.
was Harlan. I thought it was a fire hydrant.
No, that was different.
Was that
No,
another
because
time?
that was another time.
Was it Sailor both times?
Yes. And I think it probably was only, hopefully, water. It was next to like a bike thing. But even just licking the grounds of the New York sidewalk is pretty gross. What else can we tell you about? How did you all decide?
Well, someone asked how we get around. For a
Oh.
while, when the pandemic was like pretty, mellow, we got around just like trains and stuff like that. We started taking public transit again. But recently, and at the when I first joined, and recently, we've had to stop because of obvious reasons. So usually we just walk. Just, answer that question.
Okay, so that's I think if there are any more questions, I think this would be the best time to do questions. That's actually a really good question. Are you only in New York, or do you have things in other states? So we have a lot of other flying squads. Not all, of course, not all run by the same person. But one just popped up like a few years back, and then they all just started appearing. 2 questions. Okay.
Actually, we actually have a Discord server for a bunch of flying squads, across the country. So that's pretty cool. We could meet up with other flying squads, but they're pretty well. A lot of them are pretty far apart, so that'd be a little bit difficult. But I kind of want to and just do a huge Canis tournament.
Yes,
and Canis is it's a sport we invented, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's pretty poorly named because it's closer to like volleyball than tennis. But so it's like it's pretty much like ping pong, but we have a like 10. We just use like our feet to measure it, like a 10 by 10 like court, and we have like a kickball. And, you just like smack it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. First to 5 points wins, and we've made it into like a real sport. Like it's gotten pretty advanced at this point. And I would really like to have a multi-flying squad tournament. That'd be awesome.
I was never the best at that one. I think there have been multiple sports that we've made, right?
Yeah. Someone asked, how often do we meet as a flying squad? 3 times a week. 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Some people come like once or twice a week, but we meet 3 times.
Yeah. Let's tell them about like our spots we have. So in the park, not just in the park, but everywhere, we find. One easy question before I do this: age range. Yeah, 11 to 7.
11 to 17, but it kind of just like the age range grows.
I'm
older
11 and Seth is 17.
Seth is not 17. He is 16.
He is almost 17.
Yes, but that doesn't mean he's 17.
Okay, fine. He's gonna be 17 before I turn.
But also
12.
the age range also kind of grows as we get older.
Soon we'll have 1-year-olds with us. Well, no, if you count Great Surfer, then it's 4 to 16.
Okay, that's true.
True. But like you don't really grow. I mean, no one has really grown out of.
Wait, there's a really.
Not been allowed to. Just 1 second. No one has not been allowed to come to Flying Squad because they're too old. Unless you're like 30, in which case, please don't come to Flying Squad.
I see a good question, which is, what's the process for agreeing on where to go, what to do, what if there's a major disagreement? This has happened multiple times before, where there have been major disagreements. Like, remember IKEA? Almost every time we went to IKEA. So basically, what we do is we meet in the mornings, and we have this journal. So the journal we write before we vote on what to do, which is how we do things, we write these little things, which used to be what we did the day before, but then just kind of turned into us making random noises, and then the scribe, the person who's writing it down, usually has to be a very fast writer, will have to write it down. And then what my 4-year-old sister, and then the way to end it is what my 4-year-old sister said at the time, like 2 or 3, probably 2, would say when she's done with her food, you'd have to say dunga, which is, as I just said, what she said when she was done with her food. So the way we've had major disagreements before, but we usually just do what gets more votes. Or let's say let's say a ton of people want to go to the deli, like, because we have to talk about the $1. Let's say a ton of people want to go to a deli, but then a ton of people want to go to a park. What we do, we go to the deli quickly, and then we go to the park. Because if it's like one small thing like going to the deli that we can do in like 10 minutes, and then going to the park, we can just stop by quickly and go to the deli. So another thing that is pretty good to explain would be is that at the deli, if we go that day, which we usually always do, we all get $1 to spend there, which is, we usually go like about every day, which that $1 has to come from somewhere. So it's usually my dad giving the $1 to all of us. All right.
We spent thousands of dollars now on giving kids candy.
Probably. Which
Nope, definitely. One day we did the calculations. It was like $3,000.
All right, so I think we can answer more questions now.
Can I answer?
But also,
sure, Zoe.
Nora asked.
Yes, we're allowed to bring our own money, so I just wanted to answer that.
Nora asked a question a while back.
Zoe, you're really breaking up.
There's flying squads all over the country, but they're all different places. Some of them are like separate from any institution. Others are like part of like a self-directed center that's like a homeschool co-op or a ALC and stuff like that. Sure, I'll turn. Okay. And so the Brooklyn Flying Squad is part of me, which is a homeschool co-op, and that's where the tuition is based off of. And I don't really know about tuition for the other flying squads. Bria and Susan, maybe you want to speak to that too.
There's one question, which is, do you social distance from each other? We usually just keep masks on and try our best to keep them on and stay safe.
And we're outside most of the time anyway, so it's, pretty safe.
There's also what's the facilitator's roles. The facilitator's roles are mostly to help us if we need something, and keep us safe from all those New York muggers.
Did you see the question that just popped up? Do you think a flying squad for teens would work without an adult facilitator?
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, maybe.
For teens, definitely. I think yeah, I think a flying squad could work without adult facilitator, but just having one or two of them around really helps.
Especially since Alex may as well not be an adult. May as well not be an adult.
We have Isa.
Yeah, but
true.
she was added pretty newly.
Yeah.
Okay, she's new, but now we have someone.
Yeah.
Now we have an adult.
All right.
Facilitators play a pretty big,
Sorry.
at least our flying squad,
So
help us decide what to do that day and stuff like that. And sometimes I wonder, like, how would flying squad run if we didn't have a facilitator? And I think we might try and seeing how it would be if Alex, for instance, wasn't allowed to like talk or help out one flying squad day, and see if dynamics change. I think that could be interesting. But I think that for us at least, adult facilitators play a big part in the culture of flying squad and how the day is structured.
All right, so I see one question, which I remember from early on, which was I'm starting a flying squad in my community, and I need tips on how to explain it to prospective participants and or their parents. That's a pretty hard question. Let me think. Okay, so maybe explaining it as if your age group is like right now, like the New York Flying Squad's age group, where it's mostly teenagers, then explain it where it's just like teenagers deciding what they want to do in that day and just like going out and doing it, voting on things, and just really having fun, because it's because that's really what it is. So yeah, I see someone has their hand up. Do you have a question?
I do. It's kind of a logistical question for you all, but related to like the way community gets built in a flying squad. So I'm a facilitator in a developing SDE community, and we've talked about the possibility of adding a flying squad offering like 1 day a week. And so I'm wondering logistically about how it might work to offer it, to open it broadly to the community and then have it be a drop-in offering, or if you think it makes more sense to have it open only to your communities. And I ask that because I know like some of the norms that get established in communities like ours are unfamiliar to folks who exist outside of them. And so I would imagine that it could be difficult for people from the outside to just drop in here and there to a flying squad day and have to get kind of onboarded regularly with what the norms are and expectations are and, you know, means of decision making. And I could see that being kind of clunky. But that would maybe also mean that you'd be limiting access and limiting your group size. So that's just a question that I have. What do you think?
That's a good question in that you were basically asking how would it work if people were to just drop in on a day. So what I think is, because that's a little hard, because then you could have a ton of people or barely any. But you want to maybe having a group and then saying, okay, this is super flexible. You can just decide, hey, I don't want to go today, which then could result in less people. But maybe if you did like a big group of people and then said, and then said that where you can kind of just drop in and out, then that might be a good idea. I that seems like a pretty good idea to do. So that's I'm gonna have to be right back.
Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, I mean, drop-ins, I don't know how often they have happened because I'm still kind of new. So I don't really remember if anyone has dropped in like my lifetime of Flying Squad, I guess.
I think
Um,
I think the closest thing we've had to a drop-in is a kid coming for like 3 weeks. And then-
yeah.
yeah.
What was his name again?
Gil.
Gil. He ran away from us as fast as he could. He wanted nothing to do with us by the end. That was great. I forgot what I was gonna say. Hold on.
You were talking about drop-ins and not sure to what extent
Oh
that
yeah.
is.
I mean, it might be a little bit difficult for some people to drop in because we have a lot of inside jokes and a lot of
Right.
things, like dollar dares, being called the stinky. We usually don't call people stinky on their first day.
That help.
Just to spare them. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of inside jokes and stuff like that that might be a little bit difficult to get used to, but I feel like we're pretty inclusive. I mean, most kids on their first day feel I like, from what I see, feel pretty comfortable by the end of the day. And like they adjust relatively quickly. So yeah, I think drop-ins usually are fine, but it's nice to have like a constant community or constant group of people.
Yeah, that continuity piece, the relationship piece.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to say that I did not I felt like pretty lonely the first days of my flying squad experience, probably because there was not a lot of girls, and all of the flying squatters have known each other for a very like most of them have known each other for a long time, and I'd known them for a long time, but I wasn't that close, like cling to Alex. And I think now now
Zoe, you're cutting out a lot.
You might want to either turn your camera off, or I guess you could go closer to your router. That might help.
There's something you can do where you can call in on your phone, but you can also have video on your computer. So if you cut out on your computer, you're still in on your phone.
oh yeah, I could try that. But yeah, our flying squad has like a very intense culture with like a lot of inside jokes, and a lot of them are silly, but because of this, if you're not familiar with like the religion that we started at Flying Squad and Apple Academy, and like the journal and calling people stinky and stuff like that, I think it can be a shock, even if you're familiar with self-directed education before. It's actually a very extreme culture. I think it's calmed down a bit now that there's not as many boys ratio to girls, and also everyone's just a little older and maybe has like slightly, I don't know what being older does actually, but some time has passed. I don't know. So yeah.
We're wiser and older now.
Yeah, no, I'm very sorry. I didn't see. I at least I didn't think you were lonely, and I'm very sorry if we made you feel like weird and awkward and I guess like extricated, I guess is the word. Or like lonely.
I see.
And I'm very sorry for that. That's pretty shitty.
I see one good question. What caused you all to join Flying Squad? And this is good if we all just go through it. I'll go first because I'm the simplest, which is my dad one day said, "Hey, I want to start this cool thing where kids go around New York and do cool stuff." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And now it's become like a weekly thing for me.
I decided to join because I've been at Apple for longer than.
Shalem, you cut out.
Yeah, Shalem told us before that he might have some network problems. B, you can probably go now.
Okay. I started Flying Squad at the beginning of 2020. I had gone away when COVID
I
started.
think Zoe, how long have you been? Yeah, hello.
Yes. We can hear you.
Shalem, you cut off for a little. Can you hear us?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, did B finish?
No.
Okay.
So I had just gotten back from Florida, and like the only Apple group, like I knew almost everyone except for one person in Flying Squad. So I joined Flying Squad. Yeah, I don't know. I had been doing Apple for a while.
I think Shalem, do you want to go now since B's done?
Yes. What made me the hub is a website. What made me join Flying Squad is like I've been at Flying Squad for a really long, or at Apple or Brooklyn Apple Academy for a really long time. I think the only one who might rival me is Zoe. I don't know how long you've been here.
Zoe started first, but then she stopped for a while. So
how long have you been at Apple, or like when did you start?
Zoe started in like 2014.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I joined
I
in
think
2014.
she's okay. Then I think she might be the only one who has more time than me. Or started earlier than me.
Maybe Sal, but he joined later.
I started going before he was born.
I remember.
Actually, no, I don't think so. But he wasn't talking yet. So.
There's a question that's pretty good. I don't know if you missed this, but if I missed anything on this. But what are some of the different places you go to? Got the deli favorite. Okay, yeah, I didn't explain too many of the ones I really wanted to. So I think.
Wait, can I just finish what got me into Flying Squad?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just I've been here for a really long time, so I'm used to everyone, and I know the environment. And you know, a bunch of my friends were already doing Flying Squad, so it's kind of just like I started to get older and to transition out of normal Apple because Apple is normally a younger age group, so this kind of just felt like a natural, you know, next step, I guess.
Okay, so the other places we have to name are maybe most popular places that we've gone to. So there's the Crow Hill, which we named. We missed talking about Crow.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that.
That's a big one. All right, so Crow Hill. We'll do that after this. But so there's Crow Hill, which is this hill. Obviously,
it's the highest point in Prospect Park.
Yeah,
an important thing.
And it's like this. It's this ring. It's just a path, and it circles around. There are staircases coming up, and there are a lot of paths just branching down kind of into the forest. So it's the perfect place to play tag-like games. And so there's also
or hide and seek and stuff.
Yeah, there's also Harmonious Playground, or as all of us call it, Unharmonious Playground, which was one of the first places we'd go to. And there we play another game we made called Everyone's It, which caused a lot of.
You didn't make Everybody's It.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
Everybody's
Okay.
It is like, it's like freeze tag, but a little bit less popular.
Ah, okay.
We
So
can
we
explain
did
that
not
even
make
as well.
this one, which that's pretty. I thought we made it. All right. Well, we play that, but we started calling it Unharmonious because, well, we got into a lot of fights. Because when two people tagged each other at the same time, when someone tags you, you have to go down. When they get tagged, you go back up. And there are more rules in that, but if two people tagged each other at the same time, you'd have to do rock, paper, scissors. And there were a lot, that's where all the arguments came from. Because one person would be like, no, I tagged you first, and then the other one would be like, no, I tagged you first. And we were like, how about if we have one of these arguments, you do rock, paper, scissors. But that didn't help too much. It did, but, you know, everyone still fought a lot. So
Yeah, I was about to say beef, pork, chicken, eggs.
yeah.
I'll explain that. Just quickly, when I first joined, we were down by, because before I joined, they used to meet at the library, which is where we meet now. But before that, we met, I think it's 15th or 16th Street, right? Anyway, it's right next to the park. It is by a traffic circle.
Bartle Pritchard Square, 15th Street.
Yeah, okay. So there's like a farmer's market there, and one of these stands, the thing on the like tent roof said beef, pork, chicken, eggs. So we just made that our version of beef, pork, or rock, paper, scissors.
And then let's explain Crow, because I think this is one of the biggest parts of like not the, but one of the biggest parts of Flying Squad.
No, probably the biggest, because we were able to sell it.
Yeah. Which is we made our own game. But unlike Tennis, where all you need is chalk and a dodgeball, I guess. Just like a bouncy ball, kind of. This game had like cards and rule sets. And so basically what would happen is I'm not the good one at explaining it.
I can try to explain it. I'm not very good at explaining things either, but
Okay.
I can try. It's basically one person is the crow. They're like the person trying to tag everyone else. Everyone else, like goes, runs, hides, and then the crow tries to find other people. But there are other cards as well, such as I'm not going to explain all the like extensions that we've made, but people like the seer. At the beginning of the game, there is a method or like a thing we called zeving it, because the guy who like perfected it was
it's kind of like
Zev.
it's kind of like werewolves but walking around.
I think we just started an entirely new discussion on games because not a lot of people know werewolves. Werewolves
okay,
is like
everyone knows werewolves.
Okay,
No,
it's
I can
it's like Mafia. That's better.
Yes. But at the beginning of the game, we all get into a circle, and then this guy called Zev, then we had this process called zeving it. It's called zeving it because the guy who invented it was named Zev. Where I'm gonna try to figure out how to actually explain this. Beginning of the game, someone deals out a bunch of cards. There is a card that says there are a bunch of villagers, and then there's the crow, the seer, and then the twins. The twins are they can talk to each other. Normally in the game, if you're a villager, you cannot talk to anyone. Like you can't say who you think the crow is. You can't say anything. The twins can communicate. The seer at the beginning of the game can, or like.
Did you remember Hunter? And
Hunter. Yeah, that's
And did you? I don't remember. Did you say Hunter? And there's also the one Seth made. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, but that's like an extension. That's not part of the actual rule set.
And gasoline and car keys.
So at the beginning of the game, everyone gets in a circle, and then someone says, "Twins, open your eyes," or like Zev says, "All right, everyone, close your eyes. Twins, open your eyes." They look at each other so they know who each other are. Twins, close your eyes. Seer, open your eyes. Crow, raise your hand so that the seer can know who the crow is. Crow, raise your hand. Seer, close your eyes, and then everyone, disperses. The game ends if the crow either kills the seer or kills everyone. There's also a glue stick. If you have the glue stick, you're like invincible, but you have to keep trading it on every minute or so.
It's called we renamed it the shield.
The shield, my bad. The crow can also have one zombie, and that's what it sounds like. If the crow makes one of the twins a zombie, I think we have it.
Then the
yes,
twin
you play
that
while
was
you're walking around.
Oh yeah, but then if the crow makes a twin a zombie, then that twin can go make their twin a zombie. So 2 zombies.
Yeah. Then there's also a hunter, which is a little less important, but basically what the hunter does is the hunter can kill one person. If that person is the crow, game ends. If that person is the seer, game also ends. Villagers lose. Otherwise, if the villager or if the hunter kills like a twin or a villager, that the person that they killed and the hunter dies. Nothing else happens.
Okay. What else is there?
Rough explanation of the game.
Yeah. I saw my dad Alex posted a link to Murder of Crows if you want to check that out. I think the rule list is probably there. I see another question from Sarah. Yeah.
So I was wondering earlier. You were talking about how you can't really just let people into the flying squad. So before you join the flying squad, what kind of norms do you go over? Like how does that process work?
We don't really. It's more of you kind of just ask. You kind of just say, "Hey, I want to join flying squad," and then your parents will sign you up and stuff. But sometimes, of course, the group can sometimes be too many kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point you can't really get in.
Yeah.
But usually you don't go through anything before you go in. It's more of once you get into flying squad, one of us will kind of just explain everything to you. Once we usually meet you at the library, and then you can, of course, then if you don't like it, go. But I don't think any kid has not stayed at flying squad. But
Gil,
Malachi, and James.
Yeah.
And
also, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, Oliver, because I don't know how much you know. But I feel like Alex would probably be better to answer this question because he deals with stuff behind the scenes a little bit more.
Yeah.
So but be better to answer that question.
Usually, all the kids at flying squad really see is
we just see one day there's a new person.
Sometimes we're told that they're new
people. Yeah, but, we're not like dealing with anything behind the scenes.
How many members are there right now?
I
think the most is on Thursday.
I think around 13.
Yeah, around 13.
Yeah, I think most is
Wait, I think it's gone up to 20, so maybe around
20?
it gone up to like 20 one day, but that's
When?
the adults
When
and there
the-
were
oh.
people visiting.
Oh, including the
Yeah,
adults.
like
Yeah.
Great Surfer and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Philly free school too. I mean Philly.
Oh
AL
yeah,
too.
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that day it went up.
I
to
will.
20, and I think usually it's around 15 or 13.
I'll quickly count just to give you an exact number because I'll try and just count how many I got or there are at the top of my head. But someone else can answer questions while I'm doing it.
Did you get your question?
No, we don't do flying squad in the summer. Just
I mean,
There might actually be like 15 people. I'm not sure. I think there are around 15 people. Someone else has their hand up.
Hi, yes, that's me. Thank you all. This is all very helpful, all elements of it, and it's lovely to see your group spirit coming through. I was going to follow up on that question about where you go and what you do, and because I'm thinking about when I start my group and I'm talking with parents, just the aspect of like how often or how much effort do you make to go to new places? Is that part of kind of what the goal is, exploring new places, or you pretty much have your favorites and you stick to that because the group decides that?
We usually we'll mostly go to places because at the start of flying squads, when it's everyone's first day, they're not gonna really know where to go. So you kind of
Actually, we went all the way to Chinatown on the first day this time. So.
Yeah, but that's like first day with like everyone because we already there's the bun shop there. We just like walking the bridge was fun. There were already a lot of things, but I think what's good is either just like once you're far into flying squads and you're not wandering anymore and going places, maybe just like if there's that one kid that wants to go to one place, just be like, hey, everyone, why don't we go to this place? And just like recommend it. And chances are a lot of people are gonna want to go. There's always like me and my brother who are pretty stubborn on going to new places, but you know, I see Shalem and Zoe have their hands up.
Just what Zoe said, we meet at the same place every time, but because of public transit, we can go very far. Yeah, recently we haven't been able to. We've kind of been stunted again. But back when, you know, back when, what's it called? Back when, you know, public transportation was more safe to go on. Yeah, we went more places.
Yeah,
what were you gonna say,
Alicia, I think that you could start in one location and then just whatever you realize makes sense. If you get bored, then just meet somewhere else if you feel limited. And I think that just do what ends up working best, really.
And what's the furthest we've traveled in a day? I mean, in my time being there, we've Coney Island.
Oh,
when did we walk to Coney Island?
We never walked to Coney Island. The only times we've ever went to Coney Island was we went to Coney Island on the final days, which is kind of Governor's Island.
Yeah, Governor's
Island, but we didn't walk there. That's the thing.
Maybe IKEA.
We have, yeah. Oh, traveled? Is it traveled? Oh, traveled in a day.
No, probably IKEA. Because remember, we had to like leave at the start of the day.
Yeah.
Or
IKEA was pretty long.
Maybe Governor's Island, but maybe Coney Island because we did Coney Island at the end of every every flying squad semester, I think, or year, school year, I don't know. And we just go on the rides there. And that's pretty far because that's like the outbreaks of New York.
We have also like walked all the way to Pier 6 and back. That was pretty long.
That
was on a day where
at
3 people came.
Yeah, I know. We also one time at the beginning of the school year, we took the train to Chinatown to the Bond Place, and then we walked the bridge back to 15th Street. No, wait, was it the library or the 5th or 15th Street?
But how do you spot a bunch of things like you did?
Hello?
Shaylem, it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, we walked a good amount that time. But I don't know what's the farthest we've traveled.
Yeah, I'm gonna say either Coney Island or Governor's Island. Both having island messed me up. Oh yeah, Maliki can say what's the farthest we've walked. He had like a sports watch. Not sports watch, but like a tech watch that would track how far we walked. And I think the average was around like 10, 7 miles. The average steps we had per day was like 2,000 or 3,000, but that was when
5,000.
5,000, yeah.
But it's on my phone as well. It's 5,000.
Okay, well, 5,000. So
it was even like 11,000.
11,000. Wow. That's when we walked the bridge and stuff.
Yeah. Also, Sarah had her hands raised.
Thanks. So my question now is philosophical and not logistical. So I would really love to hear from you about why flying squads are important, why they matter to you as the people who are participating in them.
I personally like flying squads because it's something I just get to do every day, and not every day, but I get to do it every week and see all my friends and just do fun things. And it's been pretty fun with the virus because, of course, I can't go out and do as many things as I used to do. So just having like something where I go outside and go around for a while really helped, because usually I just stay inside and be by myself. I share a room, but
I think if any of us had not been at Flying Squad in the past, if anyone hadn't come to Flying Squad in the past year maybe, like at all, but they have been coming, they would be insane now.
Actually, that's really true. Like, I joined Flying Squad because, like, in the pandemic, I just had like no social life. I just like didn't see anybody. Now I can't like really remember why, but and still Flying Squad is like the main in-person social event of my week, and it's really nice to get out the door also and to see other people and just like talk with them. And yeah, I think for a lot of us, our mental health would be way, way worse if we didn't have Flying Squad. Even Alex says like it's the high of his week. It's his favorite part of his week.
Yeah, no, I was laughing because I feel that on like so many levels. That is, and even with Flying Squad, I mean, my social life is still minimal. Did we each like quote unquote use the city / get out and about as much before you were a flying squad member? Not as much. It definitely forced at least me to walk around more and not be a hobbit.
Yeah, I think I've walked more since I joined Flying Squad.
Yeah,
But I did go around a lot like before COVID, but during COVID, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I now, because I walk to the park at least once a week, it's a 25-minute walk, but now it just feels so short because I'm so used to it and do it often. And like I use the city a lot more after joining Flying Squad, but it wasn't correlated. It's just like I started taking more classes and stuff in that weren't online.
Like what Zoe said.
And I
Oh, sorry, there's a bug. What Zoe was saying is like what I did when I went outside, which was I went on a walk through my park once a week, and just to like, not once a week, once a day, just to get outside, because I'd be inside for like a while every day. And now I do flying squads, and now I kind of just go outside every week, and it's a lot of fun. I see one question from my dad. Do you like having to make decisions together in flying squad as compared to being indoors where you have more autonomy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I like making decisions with other people because it forces me to do things that I don't usually.
Yeah, it's interesting how like if we're indoors at Apple Academy, we don't, even though we're like we have to we're like inside of Apple Academy and we don't go out as much. There's like a lot more like of doing different things, but in Flying Squad, yeah, we're all stuck together and we could go anywhere, but we have to go anywhere together, which is interesting.
Oh, someone raised their hand.
Yeah, it's kind of a reflection listening to you guys talk. I help run a self-directed community in North Carolina. And I've noticed some of the things that you're saying, like a lot of similarities, even though they're totally different, worlds. But the things that I'm hearing that are so cool are like you have all these, rituals and traditions and things that have been created. And to me, there's so much value in that. But one thing that's standing out in my mind now is just that life skill of like collaboration, and maybe it's like figuring out like rock paper scissors. Okay, well that doesn't work, so what do we do? And that whole process of like bumping into other people's needs, and how do I change my needs, and how do I flex, and how do I give, and how do we figure this out, just around things like that. That's just so vital, and you don't see that in other settings. Just getting out there and just doing it, and you guys just totally being in charge of that, figuring it out. I don't know. I just think it's really beautiful and cool. And I'm hearing like the agency that you guys have over it. I'm hearing the like excitement about it, and the like you own it, and it feels good and you're flowing, and it's just really cool. So thanks for sharing. Oh, and if anybody has, if I can get like our center is obsessed with werewolves, of course, which so many are. I'd love to know more about that. The crows. If there's, I don't think a link got posted or anything. I think you mentioned that Alex. Maybe I can talk to Alex, but sounds really fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
I don't know if we're still selling it. Are we?
Maybe.
think
I
about
think
something for 1 second.
if you like werewolves and also like moving around,
Yeah,
then Crow is probably
Yeah.
Yeah.
great.
I'll check it
Yeah,
out.
okay. We do have copies we can sell.
Okay, thanks. Cool.
We can also talk about like projects and other, just funny stories.
There is another question in the chat that just came up by Nora.
Oh.
I know you usually make decisions through voting. Do you ever experiment with other decision-making tools or do other flying squads?
I think if there's like a tie between two like ideas or things we want to do for the day, I think we've done rock, paper, scissors before. I think,
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Voting has never really not worked for us, I'd kind of say, because we usually the things that are brought up is usually something everyone wants to do. But sometimes I guess, yeah, rock, paper, scissors if something gets a tie. I've only done that like twice.
Yeah, no, we haven't done that many times. I think we've done that like one
maybe during like IKEA.
Speaking for the Austin squad, we don't do anything off of voting. We unless it's an 100% agree to do something or 100% don't, we won't vote on it. We'll go off of just trying to find something that everyone agrees on doing, unless that doesn't meet the needs of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might be misremembering, but I think usually it's for the most part unanimous. And like if things are in close proximity, sometimes we can like split up if we have two facilitators. Like we've been able to split up
Only
more
split up
often now.
twice.
Yeah, but we like we have done that before. If separate groups want to do two separate things, and we have two facilitators.
I usually think at least everyone we've had a lot of times where there have been just unanimous votes on things.
Yeah, like when we serenade Maliki.
Yeah, that's always unanimous.
I don't vote for that every time.
Me neither.
Okay, there's another raised hand question.
Thanks, me again. So I'm imagining my group might be a group of say like 6 to 9 or 10-year-olds. So I'm wondering if anybody has experience with that kind of group, or can just imagine one of the things I think about with knowing my community of parents here is like how worried they might be about safety or kids getting around or things like that. I'm just wondering if people have any experience with that that age group and any way it might be different in how things work.
So there are other like kind of flying squads at Apple Academy, and they have a lot of different age ranges. I think the like main flying squad at Brooklyn Apple is our flying squad, and it's the oldest age range. But I would say that the other flying squads stay inside the park.
Okay.
And,
because they want to, or they?
I mean, I think
because they want to, and also because we can't really go out inside because of Omicron at the moment.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I talk a little bit more about how we decide where we go? Okay, great. So yeah, we make a list of all the things we want to do, and then we vote on them, and a lot of them are jokes also. I didn't mention that, but
like serenading Maliki, or well, some of them are like half jokes, like petting me. That's always fun.
But so Alex will circle the ones that get the most votes, and out of those, we don't vote again. I think, or wait, do we vote again?
If there's a tie, if there's like a tie between two, yeah, we vote again. Or if we can do,
Because I think
if there are two like serious answers that are tied, yeah, we vote again between the just like the two if they're like mutually exclusive.
I think that we narrow it down to like maybe 5 things through voting, and then we more decide discussionally what we want to do out of those things, so that we're not discussing if we want to yes no yes no yes no yes no, or if we want to, I don't know,
Go around.
jump on chickens or something like that. I don't
That
think
needs to
we've
become
actually
a thing that we do.
yeah. So
yeah, voting up is kind of like a warm-up process, and then we if there are like things, you know, like serious things that are like there's a tie between the two, or you know, like enough people want to do one thing and enough people want to do another thing, we like talk about it a little bit more.
I believe at one point that Flying Squad tried doing a thing where like you like rotated and someone gets to decide where you go for the day, and then like there wasn't any further question about that. That was before I joined.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I think it was more of it was not like a rotate, but we just drew a name out of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just random. Another thing that might be kind of important to talk about is how we have a lot of when voting is not really fully serious, and we just have a lot of joke things. Like for instance, one time we I don't remember if it was me or Maliki who said it, but but one of the votes was go around. I don't know why it's so funny, but then from then on we just kept putting go around in. Then also we have things like my brother did yes. And then I think Isaac, another kid who doesn't go anymore, did no. What else do we have? Like petting Shalem. I think one time we did petting B.
I've been pet like 4 times, all on separate occasions now.
What else? Oh, that's basically it, right?
I don't know. Those are like the things
check
that
the chat.
Oh, there are a few questions. Do you all identify as unschoolers? Also, do most of you Brooklyn Flying Squad members spend the remaining days per week at Apple Academy, or there are other SDE communities you're a part of? Most of us more identify as not unschoolers but homeschoolers, personally, and I think that's what a lot of other people do. A lot of questions are getting like
sorry, continue.
No, you go, Shale.
Okay. I personally don't spend any other days at like regular Brooklyn Apple Academy because it's, you know, mainly younger kids. I just, you know, spend the days that I'm not at Apple or not at Flying Squad just at home. You know,
yeah,
doing classes, stuff like that.
Yeah, I do classes other places and stuff. If B and Zoe want to say something on that,
I do one other day at Apple, but I think you're not really supposed to do 5 days at Apple. So there's no one who does 5 days except for Sal.
Someone asked if we've ever had to cancel because of weather, or do you just figure it out? Yes, we had to. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Zoe?
No, I just want to say that I'm like, I don't really know if I'm an unschooler or homeschooler just because I choose all the classes I want to take. Like, I take the classes I want to take, but I also take a lot of classes, so I don't know if, I think it still counts as unschooling. And I go to Flying Squad once a week, and the rest of my week is filled up with in-person and online classes.
So you usually come twice a week.
Yeah, but like technically I come once a week. And then I happen to come on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Yeah.
All right. So
I do want to answer the have we ever had to cancel the weather or do you just figure it out? Because there's a funny story behind one of them.
Remember the day.
The day.
The day.
So yeah, we've had to cancel because of weather before. But one time when it was pouring rain out, for whatever reason, we decided to, let's go for it anyway. So we met at the baseball fields. Alex brought like a tent, but the tent happened to have mesh signs.
Didn't you guys wear your Halloween costumes that day?
Charlie did.
Charlie
For
did.
some reason, Charlie wore his Halloween costume instead of, wearing rain gear.
Like everyone was wearing long sleeves, basically.
Yeah. Well, no, I was wearing actual rain gear.
Yeah, most people were wearing long sleeves and sweaters though.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went to the baseball fields. Alex brought a tent to, hopefully cover us up. And it didn't work. The entire baseball field started to flood. And so we all decided, you know what, we're throwing in the towel. This was at like 10 o'clock. We meet at 9. We were like, all right, we can't do this anymore. We're throwing in the towel. And we all went home.
I luckily stayed home that day. Except I probably would have been fine because I would have brought rain gear, but... Alright, so let's do the second question. Do you have any examples of teens who have come to Flying Squad after leaving a more traditional school environment? If so, what was their reaction? Yes. Maliki was the first. So I remember him telling me that, or him saying that his parents thought it was a bird watching class.
Wait, a bird watching class?
Wait, really?
Yes.
Alex said he thought it was like a field trip group.
Yes, after originally when they heard the name, they thought it was a bird class or bird watching class. Maliki can probably clarify this.
Maliki, where are you reading?
Maliki says it was an experience. No, I never said that. So I guess it wasn't a bird watching class, but yeah, like a field trip thing. That's if you want to explain it to someone who's never been like told about things things like Flying Squad before, then yeah, like a field trip thing is good. Then we had Gil.
You could just say we go around.
Go around. We have Gil, who was there for 3 weeks, and then
we don't talk about Gil.
And then kind of just
talk about what happened to him.
Yeah, we don't talk about Gil.
He just never really came back again.
Alex, do you know what actually? Did he ever tell you what happened, or like why he left, or did his parents say anything?
Yeah, we got 10 minutes left.
Really, it had nothing to do with this. That's mildly surprising.
He must have moved away or something. Yeah.
Oh, it's just COVID. Oh, I see. Huh.
And then we've also had Isaac, which I guess you could say, but Isaac was one of those kids where he came to Flying Squad after me going to Apple and being like, oh my god, Flying Squad's so much fun. I think that was like one of the reasons he joined. But any last questions pressing on people's mind? Yeah, so those were most of the kids who came from public school backgrounds. I think all of them were very weirded out their first day, but warmed up to it.
Luke came from a public school background, but I don't know about that.
But yeah. What's your single piece of advice for folks wanting to start their own flying squads in their community? That's a good question. Maybe at first I think kids are gonna need a little shove to really be adventurous and just like do their thing. Because if like you have a lot of kids coming from a public school background or just like conventional schooling background in general, then you're gonna want to have just give them like a little push. Be like, hey, we can do this or this. But then eventually, of course, they're gonna be the ones steering the wheel and choosing where to go and stuff. Have
I would just say make sure they know they can, do what they want. Within legal, within the law, obviously.
All right, there's another
but
question.
Just like make sure they know they can do what they want, really.
Yeah, I think that's most important.
Or they're free to choose what they want to do. It's not like a strict
Not saying
curriculum.
we do things that are legal though.
All right. Sorry if there's background noise. Have any of you experienced any challenges with your parents or other extended family members understanding or appreciating your flying squad's experience?
Well, I think Amaleki's parents misunderstood what happened or what went on.
For me, of course not, because my father started flying squads. So Maliki's saying his dad. I don't think anyone has ever had like challenges like that.
I think probably people have, but I haven't.
Yeah.
That issue.
Zoe?
I would say not for flying squad because like people just see it as like one of the many things I do as a homeschooler, and my grandparents, I don't know if they know what unschooling is, so they can't be suspicious of that. And they know they're happy that I'm taking an ancient Egypt class and want to see my essay that I'm going to write that I am not going to write. So I think I used to go to the Brooklyn Free School, and I think I got more questions about that because it is 5 days a week, like a school. And so there's not like, oh, well, she's taking math tutoring other days. It's like, yeah, she goes to a school where she can do whatever she wants, and that's fine. As opposed to now, where, like, it's just flying squad isn't the only thing taking up my schedule, so, like, I don't get criticism on that because it's like just once a week.
Also, wait, Alex, you got sent an essay from a family explaining why they didn't like FS, Flying Squad? Did that happen?
Really? A long
email.
A long email.
Sister? I don't know this.
That brother and sister? What brother and sister?
You know the one. That one brother.
No, I remember. There was
we have 5 minutes left, by the way.
There was once a brother and sister.
Well, me and Solomon are a brother and sister, but that would never happen.
I can't believe it, B. You didn't like Flying Squad? Could you?
No.
Right. I slightly remember that.
Okay, so does anyone have any like last minute questions?
What kind of reactions do you get from random?
Oh, it depends.
It
depends on
like,
the dollar dare. Let's just say that.
You get the parents like the side eye.
Yeah.
You get like the weird reactions. No parents ever like it's mostly little kids' parents that look at you weird. They're like,
yeah,
what are you doing
we live in
child?
New York too, so that definitely helps with people not being too weirded out by us because it's semi-normal, I guess, or it's something you should at least expect.
Yeah, Maliki says I got some side eyes from my governor signature.
That makes sense.
Another thing that makes it a lot better was the early days of Flying Squad. We weren't crazy teenagers running around, and there were little kids having fun. in the eyes of most adults. So Maliki going around and like getting signatures was like, oh, look at this kid here getting signatures for his little governor. But
yeah, well, we've definitely gotten some weird looks.
What like?
Especially,
I think the person just Harlan walked by. I think the person who took it the worst was my brother, who like absolutely hates. He's still part of flying squads.
No, he's not. He said he wasn't coming back.
He said he graduated or whatever, although he still isn't technically graduated. He hasn't filled out everything. He hasn't filled out the things that you need to.
No, he's not graduating yet.
Oh.
We'll talk about this later. But my brother absolutely hated whenever we just like, if like my dad or I did some dumb thing, anyone did some just like weird thing, he'd walk away and be like, I'm not with them. But he's also, you know, pretty like he doesn't like, he's not shy,
normal.
but like, yeah, he likes things to be normal.
We'll be kicked out, literally kicked out of the room in 2 minutes. So
yeah.
Anything you want to wrap up with? You got a couple minutes.
I mean,
there's not. That's the big story of flying.
We could finish with the story that I like alluded to at the beginning.
No, you only have a minute 30 seconds left.
Yeah. Okay. So, lightning quick. So, last Wednesday when it was raining, and we decided to go inside the library because it was raining, it was cold, and we were all miserable. When we got inside, we looked, because the way that library is, shaped, it's got like a huge, if you walk in and then turn around, it's like there's like a lobby area, there's one end of the library, there's like a children's library, there's different parts to it. If you turn around there and look way up, there is a like balcony that has glass in front of it, right? And it is huge. And anyway, so there's this guy who's reading this book, and he was standing there for like 3 hours, because when we were,
he was staring down at us, and like,
no, he was reading. He was reading.
I know he was reading, but he was like,
yes, I have 30 seconds.
Down.
I don't think I can talk fast enough. Yeah, so when he was standing there for like 3 hours reading, again, standing. And then Alex dollar dared me. It was the $4 dare. He dollar dared me to go up there and ask him, what are you doing? You've been standing here for 3 hours. What are you reading? I went up there. I asked him, and he like just looked at me, flipped over the cover of the book, and it read something along the lines of Dictionary of Website URLs. I don't know why. I don't know what he was doing. He was standing there for 3 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours, whatever. Reading a dictionary on website URLs. Goodbye. We're about to.
Bye.
Goodbye.